Hey, welcome back to JKMoto Entertainment channel. Welcome back once again to Stable B, our favorite place. We are here today to talk about a very important topic. At least I think it's a pretty important topic. And that topic is gonna be, hang on, I have it right here. Tire warmers. I know this kind of just looks like a bag. And if you're not familiar with the brand, you might not be familiar with these ones. And there's a hole in the bag. Doesn't actually affect the performance of the tire warmer. We'll talk about that a little bit also. But tire warmers, why you need them? Why you maybe don't need them? Should you have them? Where are you at in your motorcycling as far as riding on the track, or do you just ride on the road? What are tire warmers? All of it. We're gonna cover it all, so please stick around in the video for it. Right before you stick around in the video, scroll down real quick, click the subscribe button, throw a like on the video, and if you have any questions throughout the video, please throw them down in the comments for me, or if you have any experience or any other opinions, throw those down in there also. But without further ado, let's get into the video. We're gonna go ahead and open up this bag so I can show you guys what these tire warmers actually look like. Once again, actually, look at that. You know, that's the sweet part about a not so well built bag. So eventually the bag gets destroyed and then you can just pull the tire warmer out without actually having to open it up. But this is a Vortex tire warmer. Vortex is a pretty good brand. I believe they're out of Utah. Not sure where they get their tire warmers out of, but we're gonna kind of unroll this a little bit. Sweet Velcro noises. And unwrap it. This looks like it's specifically for a front, I think. I actually never know, but this is what a tire warmer looks like. We should just do the whole video like this so you don't have to see me. You just look at the tire warmer. Anyway, this is what a tire warmer kind of looks like. There's one side all the way down to the other side. And it's got this sweet, awesome little plug thing right here that you plug it into the controller and blah, 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 blah. I'm not here to tell you how to run tire warmers. I have a different video on that. So go check that out first thing. But realistically, one quick plug to Vortex. I've loved these tire warmers. I've been running them for a few years. I don't race and I don't do like 40 track days a year. So they don't have a ton of use, but I've been running them for probably 4 years now, on and off tires all the time, and never really had an issue. Only time I had an issue was one time that they scraped my chain guard, which was made of metal, and it kind of ripped them up a little bit, but that was kind of more on me because I wasn't watching there paying attention, less on the tire warmer itself. But even with that, they still work great, and they get my tires nice and hot. So what we are actually here to talk about is tire warmers and whether or not you should have a set for you. So I decided this was a decent topic because realistically, most of these topics end up going through a good friend of mine that also does track riding. He's relatively newer to it, and he'll ask me a question, and then I'll talk to him about it, and then I'll be like, well, hey, maybe that is a topic that the world would like to hear, / maybe I can get some more opinions on it. So once again, just shout out to all my subscribers, all the fans, everyone out there. I love it. I love all the comments, even if they're more negative or altering of my opinion, opposite of my opinion. I like to see all sides, and sometimes I might have an opinion one way because that's how I've thought, but then you guys bring something else up and I'm like, oh, holy cow, that's right. So please fill the comments up. That way other people that are coming can see all of the opinions from everyone else out there. I love that about this channel. We got a lot of good comments going. But a tire warmer, it's pretty kind of cut and clear on what it's like, what it does. It warms up your tires. In case you didn't know, we're just gonna get that out there. That's done. Okay, cool. We got out what it does. It does that by using electricity and resistance, and that gives off heat. And anyway, that part doesn't really matter. But you wrap your tires in it early in the morning, and then your tires start to heat up nice and warm. And so when you go out on the racetrack, your tires are already pre-warmed. Now, traditionally, tire warmers are specifically for slick tires. And I say traditionally because that's kind of where they started. Slick tires didn't have all the different chemicals in them to make them warm up very quickly. That's because you don't need that on a racetrack because you can use a tire warmer. And it turns out you don't run slicks on the road, so you don't need to, you'll never be in a scenario where you're on slicks or where you have a tire that needs warmed up and you don't have time to warm it up. Am I saying that the right way? I think that makes sense. Essentially, if you're commuting on your bike, your street tire is gonna have a compound in there, a different chemical formula that makes it warm up quickly because they know that you're not gonna wake up in the morning, plug your tire warmers in, make your coffee, grab your donut, read the newspaper, go out, check tire temperatures, check pressures, and then get on the road and go race to work. You're also probably, at some point, not gonna be doing enough speed to build up enough heat to really get like that good temperature for the operating range of a slick tire. So slicks are optimized for racing conditions, i.e., they're optimized for a very, very hot temperature because when you're out putting a bunch of friction in your tire because of how fast you're running around the racetrack because you're the fastest guy on earth, you've got a lot more grip because you got that super high temperature, and that is the range that tire is built to operate in. The caveat to that is, once again, going back to the chemical compound, they don't have that, so they need a warmer to get up to a minimum temp, and then you go add the extra little bit of heat in while you're out there riding. Now, There are some slicks that are designed for no tire warmers. You can run them without tire warmers and they warm up very quickly. I actually did a review on one of those. That's what's on my bike back behind me right here. I guess you can kind of see it. Hang on. Oh, it's like a mirror. You guys ever look at a mirror and don't know which way to look? Right there, there it is. Anyway, those were the Metzler Track Day slicks. They're a pretty sweet tire. I've got a review on those, so go check that out also. But the majority of slicks are gonna need a tire warmer prior to use, and that's just to get you up to an initial kind of hot temp, and then you can go out on the racetrack and build up even more heat because of how fast you are. Now, the question we are here to answer today is, do I need tire warmers if I'm not running slicks? That's kind of the big thing I'm trying to answer here. And I say that because if you're running slicks, you probably already have tire warmers, and this video may or may not be a waste of time for you. So I don't want you to sit here and waste your time and be like, what? You're saying I don't need the tire warmers for the slicks? You do. Keep them. Keep running them. Great. See you later. See you in the next video. Or stick around, throw some comments if you have different opinions for me. I love that also. But for those of you that have maybe done a track day, or maybe you're thinking about doing a track day, or whatever, wherever you're at on the spectrum, or maybe you've done 5 or 6 and you're like, man, some people run tire warmers even though they're not on slicks. That's what we're here to answer today, and whether or not it's worth it. And I'm not gonna be able to give you a definitive yes or no. I'm gonna give you my opinion. I'll give you that right now. I think yes. I'll give you a few reasons why, and I'll also inform you that you don't have to. And we're gonna get into all of that. So let's get into that. Anyway, what's the big deal? Why do I need tire warmers if I'm on street tires? Don't those warm up quickly? Don't they have the chemical compound that you just mentioned? Yes, they do. No, you don't need them. You honestly don't. There's no reason why you need them. Now, some reasons why you might want them, or why I would tell you to go ahead and get them, is that realistically, the cost of a set of tire warmers doesn't have to be super expensive. Less than a set of tires. Can be. You can also spend a heck of a lot more than that. If you're not racing and you're not sure if you're gonna race, 1, maybe not worth it. 2, definitely don't go for something super expensive right off the bat. You don't need the crazy super chicken hawks. If you're like, I hate to say it this way, but if you own a Ducati V4R and you do 1 track day a year and you've got 7 sets of wheels and tires for that 1 track day on that 1 bike, and it's a $60,000 motorcycle, and you feel like you need $5,000 tire warmers, you go for it. I'm all about it. But for the rest of us that are kind of barely making it by doing this, get yourself a cheap set. Now, the benefits of having tire warmers, realistically, in the morning, your street tires will get up to temp, but what is gonna be cold on your bike very specifically is the air behind those tires. And so you will have trouble getting your tires up to full op temp in the morning. The track's cold, it's possibly cold outside depending on where you live and what the temperature or what season it is. And the air is what you have to heat up. And a lot of people don't realize that with tire warmers is that it's less about the tire, like it is about the tire, but if you don't heat up the air and the rim itself, the tire's just gonna go out there and lose all its temperature. Because the asphalt's cold, the air behind the tire is cold, and the rim is cold. So that rubber's not gonna hold that heat because you're also probably first thing in the morning still warming up yourself a little bit and not going as fast as you might be going. So that tire warmer can kind of bridge that gap a little bit. It is very important in the morning that basically you get to your track day, you go to tech check-in, you get back and you plug your tire warmers in right away, so you start to get that air actually time to warm up. So your tires get warm, come back, feel your tires, they might feel warm. If your rim still feels cold, that air is not quite warm yet. Now if you're running street tires, once again, you've got that nice compound in there that'll warm up quickly anyway, so it's not as big of a deal. But if you can give yourself more time in the morning for that initial warm up to get that air time to warm up, that'll do you a lot better. Also, that's gonna play into your pressure a lot. A hot tire pressure is very important, especially if you're running a slick, but even on a street tire, you have a hot tire pressure and a cold tire pressure. So you can set your tire pressure either time, but if you put your warmers on and only get your tires up to temp, your pressure might not be as high as when the air and the rim is also warm. So you need all 3 of those things, the tire, the air behind the tire, and the rim holding it all to be warm, to have a full accurate measurement of your hot tire pressure. So very important you put those warmers on in the morning. And then also just going back to that benefit of if you're running tire warmers on street tires, that's gonna help warm up that rim, that air, and that tire. So when you go out on the track, you don't lose it all right away. If you're also warmed up and ready to go. If you're going out there and putting around, or you're doing a lead follow for the first 3 sessions or something, you're probably gonna lose it all. But anyway, it kind of just gives you like a little bit of advantage in the morning when everyone else is kind of slowly getting into it. They're slowly warming their tires up and the track is slowly getting warmed up. You're already out there rearing and ready to go. You see those guys head off in A group with their crazy slick tires. They've had their tire warmers on for 3 days and their tires are super hot. Not actually, don't do that to your tires. I mean, I guess it's okay. But anyway, they go out there and they just get after it, right? They start getting after it right away, and you're like, holy cow, and you get out there and you're like, I'm getting after it, and then later you're like, well, I was not getting after it. I dropped 5 seconds through the day, or maybe something like that. Anyway, it's gonna give you that advantage. So I'd say that's like reason number one, even if you're running street tires, not a bad idea to get some tire warmers, kind of cut some time in the morning warming your stuff up, and as long as you're ready to go, the bike will be ready to go. Just get those tire warmers on nice and early. Okay, so now we gotta talk about kind of the ugly part of tire warmers and what is called heat cycling. Now, I'm gonna be 100% upfront. I am not a tire expert. I am not a scientist. I don't have a degree in rubber or heat or anything like that, or chemical engineering or any of this. So a lot of this is just coming from kind of passed down. This is why, just another shout out for the comments, please. If you have more information or you have something different from what I have to say, please throw it down in the comments. I want to hear about it. But heat cycling is when you take a tire from cold to hot and back to cold. And a tire has an amount of heat cycles it can go through. Now, once again, this is kind of going back to the rubber compound in the tire. If you have the right compound, that tire is going to handle heat cycles a lot better. Slick tires generally, because they don't expect us to be running those for years, they expect us to run them for realistically like one race, maybe longer than that. They're not built for as many heat cycles. So depending on what you're doing and how fast you wear through a tire, you might actually run out of grip due to overcycling your tire before you ever run out of rubber, if that makes sense. I haven't really heard of that, but it is like a warning that people get. And you're also told, and this is important if you're on slicks, you get your tire warmers on in the morning, and then you go out and you run fast enough, your tires stay warm, and you come in and you get your tire warmers back on, so your tires aren't ever cold. So that way the day is one cycle. Don't be sitting there at lunch being like, man, I gotta turn my generator off. Turn your generator off and let your tires cool back down, and then kick it back on and warm them back up, because now you're using 2 cycles for one day. And then also, pro tip, at the end of the day, you can kick your tire warmers down to like a medium temperature if they have that option, and kind of let the tire slowly cool down. That's supposed to be better chemically. It might be a wives' tale. I don't know. It might just be gas companies trying to get more gas trying to get you to spend more money on gas for your generator. I don't know. But anyway, if you have single temp tire warmers, easiest way to do that is when you do come in off the track, put your tire warmers on real quick, plug them in. Once see what temp they're at essentially, and then you can kind of just, like, as long as the tire warmer is warm, you can unplug it, but leave it on the tire and then let it all cool down together. That'll do effectively the same thing as having a medium temperature or a low temperature, whatever you want to call it, effectively. It's a little bit better for it, but either way, you're gonna cycle it at the end of the day anyway. So if you're on slicks, you don't wanna cycle your tires, so tire warmers are great for that reason also. It prevents tire cycling or warm cycles, heat cycles. So the caveat to that is that street tires, once again, are chemically formulated to handle more heat cycles, because turns out they're built for the street, where we expect you to get on the bike, go ride, pull off at a restaurant, get some food, get back on the bike, go ride, pull off at a coffee shop or gas station, get some gas, pull off, go riding again, and then come home and put the bike away. So it's built to cycle like that, and those tires are built to do that. So you're not really worried about preventing heat cycling as much with the street tires. That's not really a reason to get tire warmers. But that would be a reason, if you're looking to not get tire warmers, why you don't need them. So that's that. Heat cycling. However, heat cycling for a tire in general, if you can do less of it, the tire will last you a little bit longer, / the rubber will be less brittle at the end. So no matter what the tire is at the end of life, your tire is going to be a little bit happier if it hasn't been heat cycled as much. So even for a non-slick tire, i.e. like a DOT, you're going to be better off with tire warmers that way and not cycling it as much. You might get a little bit more life out of it. Generally, I think with a street tire, you're going to run out of rubber on the tire way before you ever run out of heat cycles, but it depends. You know, if you're going real slow out there, you're kind of just hanging out, you're just Sunday cruising, or you just enjoy checking out the racetrack, it could save you a little bit of tire life there. All right, the last and final topic, I'm trying to keep this video relatively short. The last reason that I would say to go ahead and bite the bullet and get the set of tire warmers is kind of just due to, and this is all just personal experience. I haven't really talked to other people about this, but this is kind of what this channel is all about. And that is the addiction that is motorcycle track days and or club racing. So if you can manage the money, that's the hardest part usually for tires also, is usually where most of the money goes. But if you can manage to handle that, there is a decent chance you get addicted to this sport and that you just want to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Which eventually, when you've either 1, been to every racetrack in the US, or 2, you feel like you hit a plateau, or 3, your original thought was and you're ready for it, eventually you're gonna start club racing, which is awesome. Club racing is super sweet, and it keeps motorcycle sales up, and it keeps the sport alive, because without club racing, I don't know how many track days there really would be. It's what racetracks were actually designed for, was to go see how fast you can get around them and try and beat everyone else. In fact, if you're racing, the whole goal is to spend the least amount of time racing. Just kind of funny, kind of counterproductive. But anyway, the point being, if you haven't done track days yet, don't go buy tire warmers right away. You don't need those to go do your first track day. Go do your first track day. I am a big believer in buying like minimal gear, like the required gear, get good gear, but buy minimal gear required. You don't need a new bike, you don't need to buy track fairings, you don't have to have a track bike to start, you don't have to have tire warmers, all that stuff. And this channel is full of a whole bunch of different information on like, hey, you should do a lot of these things. If you haven't done a track day yet, just go do a track day. You need a pack of tape, a well-working motorcycle, and maybe a little bit more gear than you already have, but you probably have most of it. Go do a track day. I've got videos on that too. I'll link probably one of them up here, and please go check out the channel for any others. If you've done one and you enjoyed it, or you're like, well, I'm gonna go do another one, and you know you're gonna enjoy that, or you've done 5 and you are enjoying it, and you're thinking, I might wanna race in 2 years once I get ready, it's probably about time you go ahead and buy some tire warmers. And the biggest reason for that is like, one, it adds a new process to your track day, which you're gonna need that process kind of nailed down when you get to racing, because getting your tire warmers on, getting the bike on stands, tire warmers on, and everything ready to go in between race rounds or between qualifying or whatever else is like, it's a big part of the puzzle that a lot of people don't talk about. So if you just show up to race and you're not ready for any of that stuff, it's gonna be a little rough for you your first weekend. If you're already used to putting tire warmers on a bike and getting a bike on a stand, especially if you're out there on your own, getting a bike on a stand by itself or by yourself without a friend can be very difficult. Also, shout out, first motorcycle tool you should buy, video, bike stands, tire stands, very important, especially for track riding. I think in the long run, also for bike maintenance and different stuff like that. But I think just the simplicity of, hey, I don't know, I'm not running slicks yet. No, I'm not racing yet. I'm a bottom B group or middle B group rider still. I still got a lot of ways to go, but I just want to be in the habit of putting my bike on stands and putting on tire warmers, because I know that's my goal, or I'm starting to get addicted. I feel like that's going to be my goal. They're not that expensive. I think these Vortex ones were $350. You can get some Woodcrafts for $400. You can get the STG single temps. Those are great for beginning. I think those are $250. They're not super expensive. And if you got a different definition than me, I'm sorry. But you don't, like I said, you don't have to go drop $5,000 for a set of tire warmers. It's not even gonna cost you as much as a set of tires. So just kind of, like I said, that simple, hey, I've never done this before, this is gonna get me in the habit, maybe I only do it every other track day, or maybe, you know, whatever to build that habit. Once you do it, you're gonna get addicted to it, because that grip right off the bat from a warm tire, especially with a street tire, because street tire operating temps are a little bit lower than slicks. So usually pull them off the warmer, you're warm enough that you've got pretty much full grip of that tire at that point. But kind of being in that habit and setting yourself up for what you know is gonna come, i.e. club racing and or just doing a ton of track days forever, having a good set of tire warmers is not a bad idea. Also, like I said, I love the Vortex that I have. I'm not sponsored by Vortex. They're not paying me to say that. I've had a really great experience with them. But it could kind of, if you're looking for something cheaper, you can start with running something cheaper and then decide, hey, this isn't good enough, or I didn't like this about it. And you can kind of use it as a, I don't want to tell you to just go test out every tire warmer and spend a bunch of money, but maybe you're not going to race for another 2 years. You want to start running tire warmers now. You go buy a cheaper set now, see if it's got everything you need, or if you're going to need to upgrade later. So, kind of simple, but the reality of this and what I hope for you is that you love track days so much that you want to start club racing so we can meet out on the grid together, and you should go ahead and buy some tire warmers so you're used to running tire warmers. Anyway, that is where we're going to finish the video. Like I said before and throughout, if you have any other comments or any ideas related to tire warmers or anything like that, please throw them down in the comments. If you're new here to the channel, once again, subscribe to the channel and then go check out the comments. Most of our videos have a pretty good comment section of all the different people's opinions, and I'm all about it. Also, I'm not made of money, to whoever said something about growing money on a tree. Not made of money, but anyway, yeah, go check it out. Buy yourself a set of tire warmers, or don't, it's okay. But maybe eventually, buy yourself a set of tire warmers, start running tire warmers, make it faster than anyone in Moto America, and get to MotoGP. I know there was like a couple steps in there, but in between in there that I missed, but don't worry about that. Race motorcycles. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.